We are starting with the audio test. Samsung Galaxy A56 versus Pixel 9a. Battle of the best mid-range phones. We have a triple camera setup on Samsung Galaxy A56. The only difference is the 5 megapixel macro sensor. We also have the newer selfie camera on this phone. And on Pixel 9a, we have a new main sensor, 48 megapixel 1/2 inch sensor. I think that's it for the quick audio test. Let the battle begin. On the widest field of view, which is 1x, you would see that Pixel 9a has natural looking tone and you got great details on the face, while it is warmer and more colorful on A56. You also have a difference on the field of view, 1.5x on Pixel 9a and 1x on Galaxy A56. It is wider. You may also miss on the background blur. Portrait that is against the light, you will notice that the light contour on Pixel 9a helps with the illumination of the face compared to the Samsung competition. The common ground here is 2x. Again, same tendency. You got natural looking tone and brighter on Pixel 9a, while you have a warmer and a little bit greenish tone on Galaxy A56. On low light condition or indoors, you would see that Galaxy A56 is softer than Google Pixel. You will also notice that on a strong light source, Pixel 9a manages the flaring better.
I know what I'm doing. I'm clean when I'm moving. And I've been on the way, so you know.
Now on the portrait zoom, this is where Pixel 9a trumps the Samsung competition. You got a closer reach on the newest Google mid-range. Again, same tendency. You have a brighter and more detailed subject, and you have natural looking tone compared to the competition.
Watch this so much.
In terms of edge detection, I think Google is improving. I don't see any misses on my initial test.
Watch this, I'ma show you how.
On the selfie portrait, I think you have the same look. I like the more contrasty feel of Pixel 9a looking at the hair and the shirt. Also the details on my face. If you like the more beautified and brighter selfie, then Galaxy A56 is the way to go. Now we're testing the video quality test indoors. Later we will do the outdoor shot. This is the selfie video recording, 4K 30 FPS on both phones. I think the biggest difference here is the zoom of Galaxy, or rather Pixel 9a. You can go 1.4 until 4x, which is really nice. I'm not sure what would be the application of the zooming on the selfie, but you have an option like that on Pixel 9. Or rather Pixel 9a. In terms of video quality, I like the quality of both phones. Natural looking. There's an upgrade on the selfie sensor of Galaxy A56 from A55, but we have the same sensor on Pixel 9a. There's nothing wrong with the 13 megapixel sensor of Google Pixel A series, so they retained it on the Pixel 9a. I think that's it for the selfie video recording. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now we're starting with the rear camera test, ultra wide in 4K 30 FPS. There's no 60 FPS on the ultra wide lens. So this is 13 megapixel sensor on Pixel 9a and 12 megapixel sensor on Galaxy A56. In terms of the sensor size, both 1/3, 3.06 on A56 and 3.1 on Google Pixel 9, almost the same sensor size. So I believe that the video quality will be the same. I think same aperture on the lens, f2.2. I think the biggest difference here is the field of view, 0.5 on Galaxy A56 and 0.6 on Pixel 9a. A little bit wider on the Samsung mid-range. I think that's it for the ultra-wide lens. Now let's check the main sensor. Now this is the main sensor test, 4K 30 FPS. Later we will check that 60 FPS on Pixel 9a. I think the biggest difference here is the sensor size. 1/2 on Pixel 9a and 1/1.56 sensor on Galaxy A56. A little bit bigger on the Samsung mid-range, but we have 60 FPS on Pixel 9a. Let's switch to the 60 FPS. So this is the 60 FPS shot on Pixel 9a, and it goes through all the focal lengths from 2x up to 5x because we're just doing digital crop on both phones later on the zoom. I think that's it for the video test on the main sensor. Now let's check the zoom. So this is the zoom test on both phones. We are digitally cropping into the main sensors of both phones. 48 megapixel sensor on Pixel 9a, and we have 50 megapixel sensor on Galaxy A56. I think in terms of video quality, a little bit sharper on Galaxy A56, but we have a natural looking tone, a little bit softer on Pixel 9a. I'm not sure if I'm seeing the right thing on the screen of these phones. I think that's it for the video performance, video quality test. Now let's check the image quality. On the image quality test, you have a different implementation on both phones. You have an HDR looking Pixel 9a natural looking, while you have a brighter and better exposed photos on Galaxy A56. I think the white balance is also affecting the images. You get a natural looking tone on Pixel 9a, while you have a greenish and warmer Galaxy A56. You got a lot of details on that 50 megapixel and 48 megapixel respectively. I think you would be happy owning any of these two phones in terms of details and sharpness. The Google phone has more contrasty feel to it. It tends to crush the blacks, while A56 will try to give you a brighter photo. Again, this is a matter of personal choice. If you ask my personal choice, I think I still like the images coming from the Pixel phone. It doesn't have any crazy highlights or flaring. It just handles the colors really well. The overall look of the images is well balanced. In terms of FOV or field of view, you got an ultra-wide and main sensor on both phones, but you got a longer reach 10x on Galaxy A56, and you also have a dedicated macro sensor. The improvement on Pixel 9a is the slow motion. Although full HD on both phones, you got 1x and 2x on the Pixel mid-range. We are starting this outdoor test using the selfie video recording 4K 30 FPS. We don't have bluer sky today just because it's raining and snowing for the past week. But look at the colors of my jacket. You have better contrast on Google Pixel 9a. Look at the color of the building. Which phone is better? Now let's check the video stabilization. Now let's check the rear cameras. Alright, we're starting with the ultra-wide lens. We're shooting in 4K 30 FPS. You can see better contrast and colors on Pixel 9a, true to life. And you have a bluer and brighter video on Galaxy A56. Look at the color of the building here. Again, Pixel 9a is closer in real life, a little bit warmer also on Pixel 9a, or should I say greenish tint on Pixel 9a. Let's check the video stabilization. Now switching to the main sensor. This is the main sensor. We're also using the internal microphones of both phones, so you will hear the difference. It's a little bit windy today. So in terms again of exposure, better exposed on Galaxy A56. Bluer sky, forcing the sky to be blue. And you have better contrast on Pixel 9a. Again, same tendency on the colors. Let's check the video stabilization. I wanted to check the details really quick. Look at this fire hydrant. Which phone is the better details? We also have 2x on both phones. Look at the difference. A little bit over sharpened on Galaxy A56, and you have a natural looking Pixel 9a. Again, let's check the video stabilization. And going for the zoom, we got 10x on Galaxy A56 and 5x on Pixel 9a. So you got better zoom on the Samsung mid-range. Switching back to the main sensor, 0.5x. Which phone do you think is better? 2025 mid-range phones came a long way in terms of night shots. You got really good photos on both phones. I like the contrast on Pixel 9a. Black is really black, while Galaxy A56 will try to brighten the image. That looks a little bit bluer. Again, this is a matter of personal taste.
Lots good vibes, let's make a move.
Be free, living up just me and you.
While on pitch black condition or darker situation, both phones are almost the same in terms of noise, but Pixel 9a manages the highlights better. I also noticed in terms of sharpness and autofocus, Google Pixel 9a will hit them correctly most of the time.
Shake it out. Shake it out.
On the ultra-wide lens, I would go for the extra details on Pixel 9a, but on the main sensor and digital crop, I think it's a tie for me.
It's just one more night. You know it's feeling right. Don't wanna shake it out.
We're testing the low-light video recording, starting with the selfie video recording, 4K 30 FPS. So we only have 30 FPS on both phones. In terms of field of view, you have a wider field of view on Google Pixel 9a. You can also go 1.4 like the daylight earlier, and can also zoom at 4x. So you can see the quality here. I mean, you cannot zoom on Galaxy A56. I think that's the plus for Pixel 9a. In terms of skin tone, you have a natural looking tone on Galaxy A56. Also on Pixel 9a, a little bit greenish on the Pixel phone. I think that's it for the selfie video recording. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now this is the low light video recording test, starting with the ultra wide lens, again in 4K 30 FPS. There's no 60 FPS mode on both phones. 13 megapixel sensor on Google Pixel 9a, and 12 megapixel f2.2 on Galaxy A56, both f2.2 on both phones. In terms of colors, you have a more colorful Galaxy A56, a little bit muted on Pixel 9a. In terms of exposure, I think brighter on Google Pixel 9a. I think that's it for the ultra-wide lens. Now let's check the main sensor. Now shooting on the main sensor, we have a new sensor on Pixel 9a as discussed earlier. We have a 48 megapixel sensor f1.7, a little bit smaller than last year. This is 1/2 sensor. While you have a 50 megapixel, same sensor as Galaxy A55 on Galaxy A56, 1/1.56, bigger sensor on A56. I would think that you have a better low light video performance on Galaxy A56. This is the 60 FPS video recording on Pixel 9a. So in terms of video quality from 30 FPS and 60 FPS, which do you think is better? Now let's check the zoom. Now in terms of zoom on both phones, we don't have a telephoto lens or telephoto sensor. So we have 2x digital crop on both phones. So this is the quality. 50 megapixel versus 48 megapixel. Which phone do you think is better in terms of the main sensor, ultra wide and selfie? Now let's check the video resolution. And lastly, we're doing the video resolution test. This is Samsung Galaxy A56 in 4K 30 FPS, the highest resolution on the smartphone. And we got 4K 60 FPS, twice the FPS on Galaxy A56 on Pixel 9a. I think that's it for our camera comparison video between these two phones. Which phone do you think is better? Which phone will you buy? I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.